Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Batu, and today we're going to talk about disequilibrium. So here I have demand and supply. You see demand curve and supply curve, they cross. At the point where these two curves intersect, we see what I will call this point E. This is our equilibrium point. And in our equilibrium point, we have what we call the equilibrium price, and I will indicate that as PE. And the equilibrium quantity, I will indicate that as QE. So again, let me write that here. So at point E, we have our equilibrium point. And the equilibrium price is denoted by PE. And QE is our equilibrium quantity. Now, there are instances where we have what we call a disequilibrium, meaning that the price that's prevailing in that market, or in this particular case, is not at PE. It could be above PE or it can be below PE. So we're going to look at these cases by way of graphs right here. I'm going to sketch these graphs shortly. All right, so now I have here a graph. Again, this is just a replication of what we did here in this graph. But what we're going to do in this particular graph is we're going to have a disequilibrium price. Let's say that instead of PE, what happened in this market was, let's say there was some form of regulation that, all right, the price in the market is not at PE, but instead it's at P1. And P1 happens to be above or higher than PE. So it's going to be around here. So at the price of P1, the question is this: will the equilibrium be QE? Or rather, it's a disequilibrium. So it's not QE. What would that be? So the answer to that question is that at any disequilibrium price, the quantity exchanged is determined by the less or the lower of quantity demanded and quantity supplied. So at P1, quantity demanded is at Q1. Okay? So quantity demanded is at Q1 if price is at P1. Quantity supplied is at Q2, which is right here, if the price is P1. So again, let me state this, that at any disequilibrium price, let's say at P1, the quantity exchange is determined by the lower of quantity demanded or quantity supplied. Question: which of these two is lower? So here we can clearly see that Q1 is less than QE, less than Q2. So therefore, Q1 is the quantity exchanged, is equal to Q1. And here we have what we call a surplus. And the surplus is given by the fact that Q2 is the number of goods that sellers or producers are willing to produce and sell, but Q1 is the amount of goods that were actually bought. So therefore, this gap right here between Q2 and Q1 is what we call our surplus. Now, let's look at the case where instead of the disequilibrium price above PE, now it's below PE. All right, so now we have here our graph. Again, you have demand and supply, equilibrium price at PE, and we said earlier that the disequilibrium price is below PE. So let's say around here. And I will call this P2. So at P2, quantity supplied is Q1. Okay. And quantity demanded is Q2. Now, the question is this: which of these Qs is the actual quantity exchanged? Well, we said earlier that the quantity exchange is always the less or the smaller of quantity demanded or quantity supplied. For this particular case, quantity supplied is less than quantity demanded. Therefore, the actual quantity exchanged is equal to Q1. In this case, Q1 is the quantity supplied at P2. And that concludes our video about disequilibrium. I hope you enjoyed watching, and see you soon.